All right, so you're gonna shake it out and get everything that's smaller than a quarter inch to fall through to the next screen, okay? That's where you're gonna find your stuff at. There's some interesting quartz here. So you wanna check out your rocks for sure. Just give them a quick look. Look-see, make sure you don't see any green in there. Okay. I wouldn't even honestly waste my time. This one's like a little sphere. That's cool. That one's pretty cool. I wouldn't even waste my time cutting something small, even though these might end up being 1 carat. I'm really not dealing with anything less than 10 carats. I don't have time. But yeah, look at that. These, you could definitely cut these up. With these, I'll probably just take them to Thailand. For 35 bucks, I can have these cut into gemstones, right? Instead of me spending 12 hours cutting on it. So that's those. And then there's the big boy, which I showed in the other video. But I didn't get a good look at the back because it wasn't wet at that time. But look at the back. There's one there, another one there, another one there. There may be some more in here. There might be like a second one here, but I was originally thought it was just going to be this one here. Okay, we're here at an emerald mine in North Carolina. This is a place where you can pay $25 and you can keep whatever you find. You're only allowed to use hand tools, no jackhammers. So it's good that I forgot the jackhammer. People are just breaking rocks down, and looks like this is an old tailings area, and it probably goes down to a creek. But honestly, the creek is where it's going to be at. This has been pushed over so much. So right now we're just doing a recon mission. Let's see if there's a creek, and then we want to get downstream. The emeralds are going to be within 500 yards of the mine. These mountains used to be a lot taller than this. They've eroded thousands of feet down. These are very old mountains, the Appalachians. So you can expect those minerals to be very spread out downstream in a creek. So let's get to these rock piles. We're going to get down to the creek. And I'll show you where, as a gold miner, I would look. So I don't feel like breaking these rocks all day. And here we go. So you have a creek. This is the beginning, and the erosion takes it down, and it's always eroded this way for millions of years. So down there is going to be your best bet. So I'm going to look for some water I can pan in. I'm going to bring my gold pan, my pick, and a shovel. And I'm going to pan like it's gold because these emeralds are heavier than normal soil here. And I can hear running water, and that's going to be your best spot. So let's see if my theory works. Now we got to go back up the hill and get the tools. They've been digging this clay too because this is all eroded. We need to keep going where nobody's dug, farther down. If you want to find emeralds in creeks outside the Crabtree Emerald Mine or Emerald Village Mine, you have to follow them downstream. But first you got to understand that these mountains are very old and have eroded thousands of feet down. So here is the Crabtree Emerald Mine. There's a pond, and the entrance to the actual mine is here. All erosion going this way down the mountain. So as we go down the mountain, you have the spoils, all the tailings from the mine over here. They eroded down the creek this way. So you go down, but also there's a little creek going this way. So as this was much higher before, this creek over here could have emeralds in it as well. They connect together here, and they come down here. And now the elevation is 3,407 feet. As each creek comes in, it mixes other material. So there's less emeralds overall as it keeps mixing. So this would be the best section. Another creek coming in, another creek coming in. And then you have this turn here. Another creek coming in. Heavy minerals like gold will collect on the inside turns. or in the bedrock cracks. Emeralds are not that heavy, but you can still use that theory when looking for them. So this is a great spot, this creek, to prospect. I'm not sure who owns this or the private property, but there's no houses around anyway. So keep going down the creek. So this is all very rich, and then it mixes it with a bigger creek here. But the interesting part of all this is, if you zoom out, now we have the Emerald Village Mine and the Crabtree Emerald Mine as they come together at this point. So this creek system, and as you zoom in, where they come together, there's a bridge. Might come together, it looks like it comes together right there. I think the creek crosses the road, at some point crosses over to here. And after these houses, there's really nothing over here, but a lot of bedrock with these waterfalls over here. And you can see how steep it is, it drops off. Finally, one more big pond, which is probably also mined for emeralds at some point. Because if you get to a flat location, all the heavy minerals drop out and they can just mine the ground there because it's not steep. So get out your Google Earth, mark it up. You can get out little lines like this. You can change the color. Looks like I've already done it. And then you can just go like that, and you know that this has emeralds in it as well. So you can draw out the creeks with the emeralds. You can do the same with rubies. And this is how we mine all over the world. We find the old mines and then just follow the rivers and streams down underneath them. All right, this is my mining truck. It's a Ram Cummins diesel, 4-wheel drive. Some special modifications on it. And I'm ready for everything. I got wetsuits, full suit, spring suit, 5 mil, snorkel, Cressy mask, gloves. I can suck out cracks. I got eye protection. I got different screens. Notice I'm going to screen it out. Alright, you can pan it out. Got shovel, pick. I can run a sluice down there. I don't know what's down there yet, so I'm just going to bring a shovel, pan, and I wish I had some mosquito repellent, and we'll see what happens. I do have a crevicing tool. I can dig them out of the cracks because I think they're going to be in the bedrock. If I can find bedrock, it's over. All right, so let's start with that, and we'll go from there. Actually, I'll bring the bucket too. And we will bring, we're going to bring an ice scoop. This is all gold mining stuff. I can break open rocks, whatever. Let's just see what we need, and then we'll come back and get bigger tools. And this is how we mine. No matter what the situation is, we can do it. We can wipe off rocks. I've got crowbars. Good sample. Let's bring that. Yeah, whatever. Look at this. A little teeny shovel to scoop out the cracks. And then I can, all right, so I can scratch them with this side. All right, so let's start with that. All right, let's get into it. Okay, here's what we're looking for. It's called bedrock. Underneath all this dirt and leaves is solid rock. This rock doesn't move. Anything heavy that comes down this creek, whether it be gold, gems, emeralds, it's all gonna get caught in the cracks in the bedrock. Gold likes to hide behind big rocks. So the idea is to clean out in all the cracks behind the big rocks, and that's where all the heavy stuff's gonna be. So this is what you wanna look for anywhere in North Carolina or anywhere in the world if you're looking for gems or gold. This is where it's gonna be at. So this is where we're gonna try first. If it doesn't work, we'll move to another spot. So anywhere you see a crack, there could be gems. So behind the rocks, always where you want to look. There could be a crack down here. And look at this little crack over here. This looks great. So what we're going to do is clean out
the bigger rocks out of here and get rid of them. And then we're gonna scoop it out with this ice scooper, put it into the pan, and we were gonna pan it out and see if there's any emeralds down here. This is where they should be. It's not gonna be up at the actual mine. All right, so you're gonna shake it out and get everything that's smaller than a 1/4 inch to fall through to the next screen, okay? That's where you're gonna find your stuff at. There's some interesting quartz here. So you wanna check out your rocks for sure. Just give them a quick look. Look-see, make sure you don't see any green in there. If you're not sure, then you can save them in a file. And that's the rock we're looking for right there. So now, let's take this. We don't want any sand getting into our hole, so we're getting the sand out of a hole with this. This is our little hole we're panning in. And now we're gonna check the screen to see if there's any emeralds in the screen. This is a very small screen, so as you can see, so if it's smaller than that, we're not really interested anyway. But let's screen this out. Because it's so dark in here, what I'm gonna do is take all this up to the car in a bucket. We'll check it up there in the sunlight and spread it out. So we're just gonna collect it. I'm gonna fill up this whole bucket. We'll take it up to the car and we will check it in the sunlight. All right, so now that we're starting to develop our crack here, we're gonna use this little pickaxe. We can just break the rocks out of here. Got any loose ones, you can pry them out. But we're just gonna basically chop out all of this stuff, because this is where the emeralds are gonna get trapped at. We're just gonna clean out this crack deeper and deeper as far as we can go, and then we'll find another one. Start up in there. Okay, we're by the pond and we have about a 1/4 bucket of concentrates, gold pan. We're just gonna do one scoop at a time and look through it and see if you can find any gems in this colorful dirt. It's colorful. Hopefully some emeralds made it through the 1/4 inch screen. All right, so if you're planning to bring a sledgehammer out here and break some rocks, think again. My sledgehammer is doing nothing to these rocks. They are solid, and that's a huge sledgehammer. So if you're bringing a little hammer out, forget about it. These little rocks have already been picked through. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think that hammering the rocks is the solution to this thing. You can see people have been breaking them up like crazy, but there's nothing in these rocks. They've been looked through, picked over. These rocks have probably been flipped over hundreds of times. Someone was back here trying to break them on this thing here, but no emeralds. It's pretty picked over. Probably is not worth $25. It is a long shot, long shot. But there's all kind of rock you can break open here. I'm breaking it here, here. It's very hard to get anything off this rock. I've hit it all different ways, but nothing's coming off of it. There's rocks everywhere. But if you bring a little teeny hammer out or something, baby sledgehammer, forget about it. You need to bring the biggest thing money can buy out here. You're not allowed to use jackhammers. So really, this place is almost pointless. I'm trying to break the rocks out. And then you get the total, all the spoilings. You can see they've been going crazy over here. This has been like the rock break area. Finding little rocks. And they're taking them over here and trying to break them out. Of course, there's nothing in these little rocks. These are the waste rocks. The The real rocks will be in the mine. So my advice is, you need to go in the creeks around here. Find out where all the mines are and just test creeks. You got to do tests. Test everywhere you can. Eventually you'll find a spot where you can find rubies, emeralds, or sapphires. And then you can get as many as you want. So my final advice on this spot here, come out here, have lunch. It's a beautiful spot. Break a couple rocks, bring a big sledgehammer, and you can say you did it and move along to something better, because probably only 1 in like 50 people are even going to find this tiny little baby emerald. They're not even very green, they're more like aquamarine than emeralds here. So you can come out and give it a shot. You can run some of this dirt through the through some screens. It's probably your best bet. Run some dirt through some screens. A lot of people have been doing that. You can see that. People have been just digging the dirt out here. You can do some test pans, or you can hit these rocks. It looks like here it's a pretty good spot actually. Break this off, this black right here. Could be something on the other side of that. It's got some rusty stuff here. That looks like it might be something right there. Let me go ahead and give that a shot with that old sledgehammer. All right, so that might be one right there. I'm try to hit that out. That's all I see. Out of all these rocks, it's the only visible emerald I might see right there. This one right there. Okay, we had a successful outing, and these were not found at the mine there where you pay $25. These were found farther downstream from one of those 2 mines that are there in Spruce Pine. I'm not going to give you the exact location because obviously I have my honey hole now, and I don't want someone to say, oh, you were trespassing or something crazy. But let me show you what we got. All right, it's a bunch of little ones. The only ones that might be good is I could probably facet that into a gemstone with the Ultratech. We're going to show you that soon. And maybe this one. But this quality could be terrible. There's a skin on them. We got to get the skin off, and then we can see how clear they are inside. Because if the inside is just, if it's not clear, then what's the point in cutting a gemstone out of it? So I'll show you a couple of these. This light is noble. It's from Burma, Myanmar, that war zone. Anyway, it's only made there. This is the best one in the world, and this is why. It allows you to see through it. See that? It allows you to see through it, to see what's under the skin before you take this. So if you're buying rough gemstones, you'll kind of know what you got. So that's probably number 2. This is number 3. See, it's clear over there. It's just like quartz on that side, so that's worth nothing. Yeah, so this is, most of this is no good. So when you're buying rough, you can see what percentage of the stone is actually good. Some small ones here. I don't even know about this stuff here. Okay. I wouldn't even honestly waste my time. This one's like a little sphere. That's cool. That one's pretty cool. I wouldn't even waste my time cutting something this small, even though these might end up being 1 carat. I'm really not dealing with anything less than 10 carats. I don't have time. But yeah, look at that. These, you could definitely cut these up. With these, I'll probably just take them to Thailand. For 35 bucks, I can have these cut into gemstones, right? Instead of me spending 12 hours cutting on it. So that's those. And then there's the big boy, which I showed in the other video. But I didn't get a good look at the back because it wasn't wet at that time. But look at the back. There's one there. Another one there, another one there. There may be some more in here. There might be like a second one here, but I was originally thought it was just going to be this one here. Yeah, it comes all the way. It comes all the way down to here. By the way, that pond there at the mine smells terrible. It smells like roadkill. I had my mask and snorkel, and I was gonna go in the mine in the water, and but no, definitely not going in that stinky water. It's disgusting. Anyway, this light, there's other ones like this. You can get them on Amazon, but not this typical brand. All the best gem buyers in the world use this one. And it just lets you see inside the stone real well. All right. That's it from North Carolina. Gotta head back to Colombia. I'm out. Peace. Okay, amor.
Hola. Vámonos para Armenia en el Jeep.
Sí, vamos por Armenia.
En el Jeep.
And you'll put it encontrar tu bonita primas in Armenia, okay?
Ajá.